modulus of rigidity. In the analysis of strain, we have already derived this equation. You can refer to slide number 20 of analysis of strain for further detail, where the same situation has been considered, and under this situation we have derived the shear strain. Now let's take the x dash plane and write the Cauchy's stress formula. So we will get sigma x dash is equal to sigma n is equal to Tx nx1 plus Ty ny1 plus Tz nz1. And because we are taking principal axis as reference frame, so our normal stress will take this form, where Tx will be sigma 1 nx1, Ty will be sigma 2 ny1, Tz will be sigma 3 nz1. So finally we will get this equation. And if the direction cosine of y dash plane are nx2, ny2 and nz2, then we can write down the expression of tau x dash y dash in this form. Here again we can put Tx is equal to nx1 sigma 1, Ty is equal to ny1 sigma 2 and Tz is equal to nz1 sigma 3. Next, to put sigma 1 is equal to lambda delta plus 2 mu epsilon 1, sigma 2 is equal to lambda delta plus 2 mu epsilon 2, and sigma 3 is equal to lambda delta plus 2 mu epsilon 3. After simplification, this equation is transformed into this expression. Here this part will be equal to 0 y, because here you are taking multiplication of two unit vectors which are mutually perpendicular. So cos theta will be 90 degree, cos theta will be 0, and this term can be replaced by gamma x dash y dash. So finally we will get tau x dash y dash is equal to mu gamma x dash y dash. Similarly, we can find out relationship between tau xy and gamma xy, tau yz gamma yz, tau zx and gamma zx. Here the coefficients mu represent the modulus of rigidity. Now let's derive the expression of bulk modulus. So we know all these three relations. Just add these three equations and we will get this equation. The summation of sigma 1, sigma 2 and sigma 3 represents first stress invariant I1, and the summation of epsilon 1, epsilon 2, epsilon 3 represent first strain invariant J1. That means this equation can also be written in this form, because stress invariant does not depend on the reference frame. It will remain same if you are taking principal reference frame or coordinate reference frame x dash y dash z dash. The value of J1 will also be same if we take coordinate reference frame x dash y dash z dash and take the summation of strain components, these three strain components. So bulk modulus K is defined as pressure by volumetric strain. For isotropic material, sigma 1 is equal to sigma 2 is equal to sigma 3, and let's say that this sigma 1, sigma 2, sigma 3 are represented by a new variable p. Then from this equation we will get 3p is equal to 3 lambda plus 2 mu delta. So this delta may be obtained by summation of these three strain components or summation of epsilon 1, epsilon 2 and epsilon 3. Finally, if we divide both sides by delta, then we will get bulk modulus K, and K will be equal to 1 by 3 lambda plus 2 mu. This is very important relationship. Let's write this equation once again. From this equation, we can write delta is equal to summation of sigma 1, sigma 2, sigma 3 divided by 3 lambda plus 2 mu. Let's substitute this equation of delta in this equation. Finally, we will get sigma 1 equals to this, and after some substitution, after some manipulation, we can obtain this equation from this expression. And from elementary strength of material, we know that epsilon 1 is equal to 1 by E, sigma 1 minus mu, sigma 2 plus sigma 3. So after comparison, we can say that Young's modulus E is equal to mu into 3 lambda plus 2 mu by lambda plus mu. And after comparison, this mu will be equal to lambda by 2 lambda plus mu. So if lambda and mu are known, then we can determine the value of Young's modulus, Poisson's ratio, and also the bulk modulus. K is equal to 1 by 3 lambda plus 2 mu. That's why it is said that all elastic constants can be expressed as a function of only two elastic constants. So if we know the elastic constant lambda and mu, then we can derive the Young's modulus, Poisson's ratio, and bulk modulus. Similarly, if we know Young's modulus and bulk modulus, then we can determine the value of Poisson's ratio, Lami's coefficient mu, and lambda. So any two elastic constants can help us to determine all the remaining elastic constants. So we can memorize any one set of equations, but preferably we remember these equations where lambda and mu are known. This condition is very important. It tells us the maximum value of Poisson's ratio or positive bulk modulus. The value of Poisson's ratio nu cannot exceed the value half. This is considered as the upper limit of Poisson's ratio. Let's summarize all the formulas that we should remember. So first, we should remember this relationship. Sigma 1 is equal to lambda delta plus 2 mu epsilon 1. If we remember this formula, then we can derive the relationship between sigma 2 and epsilon 2, sigma 3 and epsilon 3, and similarly, we can write relationship between all the 6 rectangular stress components and their corresponding strain components. And we know that the lambda and mu are Lami's coefficients. Delta denotes volumetric strain. The value of delta is invariant and does not depend on the reference frame. So this delta can be obtained by summation of these rectangular strain components with respect to coordinate axis reference frame, or this delta can also be obtained by summation of epsilon 1 plus epsilon 2 plus epsilon 3. So also remember this expression which we have already learned from the elementary strength of material. Now let's write all these expressions with respect to coordinate reference frame. So we will get sigma x is equal to lambda delta plus 2 mu epsilon xx. In the principal reference frame, the shear stresses and shear strains are 0. So we have not written the relationship between shear stress and shear strains. But in coordinate reference frame, we can write the expression of shear stress and shear strain. So it is written in this form. These three equations can also be written like this. Next comes the expressions of elastic constants. So this mu is Lami's coefficient and it is also known as modulus of rigidity. Generally, modulus of rigidity is denoted by G and Lami's coefficient is denoted by mu. So if lambda and mu are known, then we can determine the Young's modulus E by this formula, Poisson's ratio from this formula, and bulk modulus from this formula. So these relationships are very important for the numerical problems from the topic stress-strain relations. Now let's solve some numerical examples. So in the first question, state of stress is given and two elastic constants are also given, and we have to calculate the strain components. So we know the relationship between strain components and stresses. So if we use these three relationships, then we can find out the normal strain components epsilon x, epsilon y, and epsilon z. For calculating shear strain gamma xy, gamma yz, and gamma zx, we can use these three relationships. So by using these 6 relations, we can find out the strain, all the strain components. Second example. In this example, strain components are given and we have to compute the stress tensor. So now if we use these three relations, then the computation will be very difficult. So we will use these three relations for calculating the stress components, and the calculation will be very easy, very straightforward. And just use these three relations and directly you can find out the shear stress components. The last topic of this lecture is displacement equation of equilibrium. We already have derived the equation of equilibrium in the chapter analysis of stress. In this chapter, we have shown how to relate the stress components to the strain components using the stress-strain relationship. Hence, stress equation of equilibrium can be converted to strain equation of equilibrium. And further, we have also derived in the previous chapter, that is analysis of strain, that the strain components relate to the displacement components. Therefore, the stress equations of equilibrium can be converted into strain equation of equilibrium, and the strain equations of equilibrium can also be converted into displacement equations of equilibrium. So in this chapter, the displacement equation of equilibrium will be established. First, we will write this equation. This is one equation of stress equation of equilibrium. We know that sigma x is equal to lambda delta plus 2 mu epsilon x, and tau xy is equal to mu gamma xy, and tau xz is equal to mu gamma xz. So if we substitute these relationships in this equation, then we will get this equation. We can also replace the strain components with their respective displacement equivalent. So epsilon xx can be written as dou ux by dou x. Gamma xy can be written as dou ux by dou y plus dou uy by dou x. And similarly, we can replace this gamma zx with their respective displacement equivalent. So after substitution, we get this equation. This term is multiplied by 2, so we can write this term twice. So overall, we get 6 components, 6 elements, 6 terms inside this bracket. So we can group these 6 terms in 2 groups of 3 terms. Then we can bring dou by dou x common here. So we will get here mu into dou by dou x into this part. It represents the volumetric strain. So let's substitute it, and finally we get here lambda plus mu dou delta by dou x plus mu into this term. This part can be represented by this notation. So finally we get this expression as the displacement equation of equilibrium. Similarly, we can write down 2 more displacement equations of equilibrium. So finally, we will get 3 equations for equilibrium. We can apply these equations of equilibrium to check equilibrium condition at any particular point for a given displacement field. So in this example, it is given that the displacement field at point 35 minus 8 is given like this. So we have to check the equilibrium condition. So we have to apply these all operators, and we have to check whether these 3 conditions are satisfied or not. If satisfied, then we can assure that the displacement field represents a equilibrium condition. Thank you so much for your kind attention. For further detail, you can refer the books by L.S. Srinath and A.P. Burrage.